what steps should be taken to restore Canada's economy.
I think we're going to have some regional approaches and some very localized solutions to the challenges that we face. Our economy is based on agriculture, fishing, and tourism, and each of those are experiencing the pandemic in very different ways. And so there might have to be sectoral approaches, but also really regional approaches to what's going on. A solution that is based, a one-size-fits-all I don't think is going to work at the moment, because living in Toronto is very different than living in rural PEI. And so the types of supports that are out there, the value of those supports, I think, are going to have to be really evaluated and developed a little bit further as the pandemic continues.
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess I don't really know how to answer that one. I guess just once everyone gets vaccinated, hopefully we can get more stable, more jobs, more people in jobs, and just the economy back to normal. That's definitely taking a hit, and hopefully we can get that back to normal soon, definitely.
It's really hard to say, really hard to say. I know that a lot of small businesses won't make it through, a lot of restaurants and whatnot. They can't survive another year of nothing.
Well, because tourism's such a big industry for PEI, and of course now with COVID it just makes it so much harder to bring in tourists. I think if to jumpstart the economy, something will have to be done in order to mitigate a lot of the problems that seem to be happening with a lack of tourists coming to the island. So I think if the government can work out a solution to that, that would be most beneficial.
I have no idea. I think I see in Charlottetown a lot. I really like that there's a big culture here of supporting local. So I think it's nice to see in a smaller place like Charlottetown or on PEI that everyone's trying to help each other out and support each other. I know I've seen a lot of businesses shut down in Montreal around the city, and that's really unfortunate. So hopefully if the government can continue to provide unemployment insurance, and proper resources for people to get back on their feet, that's the best thing that we can do. We need to help everyone in any way we can, and I think that's where the government needs to come in.
On the island, well, it'll take a few years, but because we've been safe and we're so quiet and lovely and peaceful, the tourists are going to rebound here as soon as they possibly can. And I think people will buy more locally from now on, and it'll take a while, but we'll be all right.
I guess just the sooner things start looking up, the sooner people get vaccinated and everything gets back to normal. I'm no economist myself, but I would only think that would kind of trigger an uptick back to where we were before.
That one's a really hard one. It's going to take a lot of time and a lot of thought and a lot of effort. We can't just keep throwing money at things, though, and we're going to go into, in my opinion, a deep recession because they've been printing money. And when you print money, inflation will follow. So we're in for some pretty hard times here because we're going to have inflation, we're going to have inflated interest rates, and people are going to be suffering. Businesses are closing, so where are people going to find jobs?
I think the economy has to be secondary to health. So I think a complete shutdown would be very helpful for a month. And if you've got healthy people and you don't prolong the spread of the virus, I think the economy will function much better, much quicker, and for a longer period of time.
We've already hit a bottom, that there is no more cost savings that are possible there. So the question is do we now bring it all back and start developing in-house manufacturing and in-house production and in-house development in order to stimulate our economy and become again a power in those kinds of fields?
I think getting people working, because that's who pays the tax dollars, are individuals. So I think getting people back working and back having the economy get up and running again is the best thing for all of us.
We got to continue to push diversity. I think here in Alberta, oil and gas is great, but I think we need to look at the long-term sustainability of things and have a strategy to be able to deploy there. And I think more broadly, like the housing market is kind of Canada's economy right now. I don't think it's sustainable over the long term. What's driving it? Where's the industry? We need jobs over the long term, and I just don't see that right now. So I think if I were in a position of policy, I'd be pushing for diversity across all of Canada.
You know what's going to happen with the economy? It's going to bounce back. I'm a real optimist. The economy is going to bounce back, and I mean the housing situation right now is dire. Don't buy a house today. But I think it's going to bounce back, and we're all going to be good again.